Just had my son in October, 22, and then about 4 or 5 months later, started getting really bad headaches. Lo and behold, there was an MRI that showed tumors, multiple, in my brain. So I had a craniotomy with a 4 or 5 month old. A few months later, we finally took our trip to Mexico. We were at the pool having a good time, and then I had a seizure out of nowhere, near-death seizure. Couldn't feel anything from the neck down. Literally, first moment when I woke up out of the coma, I thought I was paralyzed. Those from 2023 through 25, I was really focused on my health and raising my son as a single mom. Kind of come back as this Rachel version 2.0. It's time for me to figure out what's next for me. And then I saw Jordan's ad. We were starting this marketing, sales, AI marketing business from zero. And now I'm at 14K.
Can you just share in terms of exactly where you were at before we met and we started on this journey together?
2023, we can call it. It was my rock bottom year. In a lot of ways, it was a huge blessing of a year because, I'm alive, but I almost wasn't. I had just had my son in October, 22, and then about 4 or 5 months later, started getting really bad headaches and was kind of written off postpartum, just headaches. Take some Tylenol, you'll be fine. I kind of thought to myself, no, there's something wrong here. Lo and behold, there was an MRI that showed tumors, multiple, in my brain. And I had to have one that was 4 centimeters that was pushing up against my skull that was causing the headaches removed. So I had a craniotomy with a 4 or 5 month old. Then after that, my course of action was go through radiation, go through immunotherapy. For those not familiar, immunotherapy is kind of like chemo. So just really intense course. We had this whole plan. We're supposed to go to Mexico, have a family trip, but that kind of got derailed with the health. There was just a lot of things that I didn't know. So basically, a few months later, we finally took our trip to Mexico, and we were at the pool having a good time, and then I had a seizure out of nowhere, near-death seizure. I was called status epilepticus, rushed to the hospital, was in a coma for 3 days on respirators. And then also I had aspirated as well. They had to kind of fish food out of my lungs. The pulmonologist in Mexico collapsed my left lung, brought off the ventilators, couldn't feel anything from the neck down. Literally, first moment when I woke up out of the coma, I thought I was paralyzed. Literally, the doctor comes in, oh, you're awake, how are you? I'm like, am I going to be able to walk again? And he tells me, he's like, well, you should. Yeah, I was airlifted to the States about a week later, was handed a walker in the hospital in the States, and had to teach myself how to walk again. Essentially had to bring my lungs back to health. Basically walking at 3 miles per hour on a treadmill, my pulse would skyrocket. I could hardly even just do these mundane tasks. After a while, I started walking again. I actually started dancing, kind of started to really find myself again, kind of come back as this Rachel version 2.0. Those from 2023 through 25, I was really focused on my health and raising my son as a single mom. Finally, 2024 again was starting to starting out what's next for me in my business. That was when I was focused on writing my book. And then as the new year started, it's time for me to actually figure out what's next for me. I have done the coaching. I've done that for 8 years. I still have clients here and there that approach me for that, but it was definitely there was something about it that I had outgrown. And then I saw Jordan's ad on it, and I was one of those, we scroll on Instagram, we skip through our ads, but something about it, I clicked it. I watched the entire webinar, and I'm like, okay, I watched the entire webinar, I might as well book a call. I don't think I'm gonna buy. I think so many of us, when we're entrepreneurs or seekers, we get a lot of ads that are targeted towards that. This was the first time in many, many years where I actually was no, this seems like it's calling to me. Yeah, I hopped on the call with, one of the sales reps, kind of was I don't think I'm going to do this. I just really was skeptical of myself, not of the program, but am I really going to invest this money into this? Am I really I'm this is a good chunk of change that I don't necessarily have, but I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to join AI arbitrage. I'm doing it. I've done other coaching programs. I've done other business programs. And like I remember this like constriction in my body before I invested in them. And like I would tell the person I'm on the phone with, I don't know, I don't think. They're like, no, no, no. They would tell me that like you're just nervous, it's okay, I'm here for you. And like I just felt this like constriction in my body before I invested. They weren't the best programs. And then I did this one and it just felt so light to join. You know, like a no-brainer in a way. Like there's just like a lightness. I always like talk about like intuition, light, heavy. If something makes you feel heavy, there's usually something about it that like you have to question or like take a step back and like reflect on it. Whereas if something makes you feel light, follow that. And so that's kind of how I felt when I joined this program and this community. I was like, follow that lightness. I then started following Jordan. This guy is like, he practices what he preaches. He's authentic. I'm joining. And so I joined. Sometimes you join and you're like, buyer's remorse. No, I was like, I'm going all in. People have also seen my reviews on Trustpilot and so have like messaged me on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm thinking about joining. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, join, do it. This is the most supportive program you could possibly find out there. You're so supported. Like based on like calls every single day, course content that is so well-rounded and so like answers every question and beyond that like somebody looking through this can be just overwhelmed by how much education is out there on the platform and just constantly being added.
If you can share a little bit about the types of projects that you're working on, the deals and the revenue and stuff, that would be amazing as well. But what has been the things that has enabled you to become the 2.0 and achieve that financial success that you've been not just searching for the last 8 years, but actually really sort of needed to live the life and to build the life that you want for you and your son?
It's almost like feels like there's these like micro shifts that happen along the way or along the journey. I offer like lead generation, client acquisition. Those are kind of my offers right now. I started off what I felt comfortable with selling. And so my first deal was like $1,000 a month with rev share component. I felt good. And like even my first client had replied back to me like, oh, wow, that came in less than what I had anticipated. And I'm like, well, and then even hearing that stuck with me. I'm like, I came in less than what you anticipated. Like, oh, okay. I mean, obviously calls on top of calls to get to the point of like where I was having the sales calls, but then like, okay, then I felt more comfortable to offer like a 3K deal a month plus rev share, a 4K deal a month plus rev share, then like a 5K deal plus rev share. It's like I was having these like little incremental moments. Sometimes, you know, people can go out there and be like, go from like 1 to 10, not myself. But I'm like, I'm going to do these little incremental increases for each new client. But the deal is essentially this similar or the same. Like some of them have like a content creation component. So that's kind of where I would like increase accordingly to that. I work with clients that I believe in. I believe in what they're selling. I believe in what they have to offer. And so I'm always like, okay, yeah, let's get into this together. Let's share the revenue of like whatever I bring in. I'll get a percentage of whatever those sales look like. Essentially, we're not recreating the wheel for every single other client that we work with. Like if it's working for him, it's going to be no different than for the others. And he even, you know, this first guy tells me like, oh, that's less than what I thought. I'm like, okay, well, if it's less, then like might as well do more for the next conversation. So I guess you could maybe say like I got a little bit more audacious, confident. So I'm currently sitting pretty. I brought in 14K in October in revenue in monthly recurring. Currently, my offers sit at about 4K month retainers plus a rev share component. Technically 6 clients right now. We're starting this marketing, sales, AI marketing business from 0. And now I'm at like 14K.
What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about pursuing building a business with AI? What's important for them to understand, to know, and in which areas did you receive the most value and why?
We can all sit here and watch the videos and learn the tools, which are actually, I mean, the course content's great, I will say, very well-rounded and like digestible. The group calls are really awesome. You get to ask your questions. And that's what something that really stood out to me is like, they will sit there and like answer every single person's question. Doesn't matter if the hour has passed or beyond the hour, like they will sit there and make sure everyone's questions are answered. And I think they don't have to do that. Nobody asked them to. They do that because they care about everyone that's here in the program. For anyone that's just getting started, don't think that you're behind or like you're too late, because you're not. We're actually in the perfect time to be doing this.
It's incredible and it's beautiful, and your son's going to be an incredibly proud son to have a mum like you. You take the action to have the vehicle to enable you to build the life that you want to build, but you're never going to get that life if you don't make change or take action. Rachel, thank you so much for your time. Incredible story.